What's up, GW coming to you live? Okay, just watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. We're going to get right into it here, guys. First of all, they kept the movie a lot under wraps. I guess they didn't want anything getting out. They kept it all, secluded, hidden. But I am a big fan of the 1984 version. I actually remember watching that thing whenever I was real little, and my my love for that film is not a secret. I do love Ghostbusters, and I even go so far as to say I love Ghostbusters too. Um, this film, first and foremost, before we get into some of the highs and the low points of it, is a love letter to Ivan Reitman, because his son actually directed it. It's also more of a love letter to actor Harold Ramis, who played Egon Spengler. There is a huge connection between the original 84 film and this film. And I'm not going to ruin that for you, because I think it's pretty much safe to say that, you're looking for something that's classic yet new. All right, so I don't want to give away the plot point, so how do I do this? Okay, I will tell you. Basically, this deals with the granddaughter of Egon Spengler. She's a down on her luck woman, and she has two kids, and they are forced to move into a dilapidated farmhouse, which Egon pretty much used as a research lab / trap, giant trap. Now, I know the first thing that you're going to say is, okay, does the four come back to reunite? Well, yes, they do. But in typical cameo fashion, you kind of have to wait till the very end to see all four of them. The one thing I liked about that particular sequence is it brought back a feeling of not only nostalgia, but thrills, that we could be seeing the beginning of something, more along the lines of maybe a Ghostbusters 3, 4. I know that Dan Aykroyd publicly came out earlier and said that he would be open to a few sequels. I think Ernie Hudson would be as well. And Bill Murray, I believe, has controlling interest in the franchise, so he'd be back on board. It pays homage to the original film with a lot of fan service, guys, and I mean a lot. Prepare to be overloaded. The film starts off kind of slow, but picks up very quickly. It has a runtime of, I think, 2 hours and 5 minutes. So it's a hefty chunk of film to take in. There are throwbacks. There are actually, like I said, a lot of fan service, and I mean a lot. If you guys remember the in the 1984 version, where they're talking about Ivo Shandor and how he created a spiritual conduit to pull spirits in other worlds, prepare to meet the man in this film. You will actually see him in this movie. You will also get a taste of what he was actually doing other than the building. Apparently, Mr. Shandor wanted to get with Gozer the Gozerian. You guys remember her? She was the chick on the rooftop before the Marshmallow Man, guarded by the two demon dogs, devil dogs, whatever you want to call them. That is very, very well done. The one thing I did like is that it didn't get lost in its own, it didn't become a stupid movie, is what I'm saying. It could have very easily been done very badly, but I'm glad that Jason Reitman did it. And his dad actually, I believe, did the original Ghostbusters. Now, point of fact here, guys, if you guys don't know this, there was supposed to be a Ghostbusters 3, where the entire city of New York and Manhattan was plunged into hell, and it was called Hellhattan. The problem with that film is that the script, excuse me guys, the script was so special effect laden that they could not afford to do it. So that's why there was a lull between Ghostbusters 2 and the female reboot, which, as cute as it was, really didn't do anybody any favors. But let's not go there. So you can check that out about Ghostbusters 3, the movie that never happened because of special effects. What I liked about this film was, like I said, it was original. It kept to the spirit of the original movie with a big tie-in. That being, like I said, Egon Spengler, his mansion, or his farmhouse rather, the Ivo Shandor stuff, and stuff like that is sprinkled throughout the movie. And I think if you really watch the original 1984 movie, you can pick up on some of the references. They're not hard to pick up. If you didn't see the original, I suggest you guys go out and check it out, then watch this. This is not going to be the blockbuster that the original is, but it's a very close step. Because the writing is smart, the script is pretty cool, and it like I said, it not only serves as a homage to actor Harold Ramis, it also brings back, something that I think we've missed, out of our childhood if we did watch that movie. Again, there's tie-ins. Like I said, Paul Rudd being chased by a devil dog through Walmart reminds you of when Rick Moranis, can't even talk, was chased through a restaurant by a devil dog. You guys remember that scene where the devil dog was in the closet? Yeah, it was pretty cool. Things like that are, pay homage. Speaking of which, Annie Potts, who I haven't seen in decades, is in this movie as a cameo. So is a few other people. But I am going to zip my mouth on that because it's just a joy to see. The cameos in this movie almost remind you of Jason Goes to Hell, where you want to see Jason, and at the very end you pop up and it's like, you got the prize at the end of a Cracker Jack box. Or the rainbow at the pot of gold, where you had to go through all this and then finally you get to see what you want. But that's another, Jason Goes to Hell is another topic for another time. Among Paul Rudd, another actor is in here is most noteworthy is Finn Wolfhard, who plays a Ghostbuster, believe it or not. Finn Wolfhard's been on Stranger Things. He's a very cool dude. Now, I have yet to check out the special features in this because, like I said, I just watched this morning. Let's see. All right, so Carrie Coon plays the mother, and McKenna Grace plays the daughter. One thing about McKenna Grace, she really makes you believe she is Egon's daughter. She is scientific. She is smart. She's more scientific than anybody else in the film. The one thing that almost brought me to tears, guys, was the fact that at the very end, if you haven't seen the movie, I will tell you this. The very end of the film, the ghost of Egon Spengler appears. And it was touching, and it was pretty cool, and it made you tear up just a little bit. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. But like I said, this movie is a cross between a fan service movie, an action-adventure movie, and a new beginning, I believe, for the Ghostbusters. And although not as big and blockbustery as the first one, it fits. So if you go from Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, forget Ghostbusters the remake, go right to this. It's pretty good. Now, I went into this film, like I said, expecting nothing. expecting a run-of-the-mill cash grab movie, but it's not. It's a very cool movie. Um, like I said, fan service all over the place. Do you guys remember the taxi cab ghost? That the guy got into the cab when all those ghosts got loose, and he was a skeleton. You will meet his twin brother in a restaurant. Look for him. The only two things that I didn't see, and believe me, guys, I was looking pretty hard for little pop up tributes to the original movie, was Slimer. He is not in here, obviously, but his cousin Muncher is. Muncher's a cool ghost. You have, at the end of the film, also amazingly too, you've got the Ray Parker Jr. music blasting in your ear, which then again, reminds you of, takes you back. But all in all, very cool movie. Definitely check it out. The only thing, like I said, is whether or not this thing will warrant a sequel. Because it was kept under wraps. And I really don't want to reveal the story to you because it's pretty cool. Just give it a little bit to get started. That's my goal. Or that's, my goal to tell you guys to get it started. Also, on the remake front, or the requel front, if you will, yesterday I watched the new Scream film. It's streaming right now on Paramount Plus. You guys, if you guys have that, definitely go look that up if you're a fan of the Scream movies. This is another movie that basically takes the events of 1, 2, and 3, or maybe even 1. I don't know. It's hard to tell, guys. And it brings back 3 of the original cast. It brings back Neve Campbell. It brings back David Arquette. And crap, I'm drawing a blank on who's in there. But the original cast is there. I can't think of her name right now off the bat, guys. But the storyline's well done. And again, it could be done very wrong, but it was actually a pretty cool deal. Me and my wife watched it. And if you haven't seen it, Scream 1 was great because at the end of the movie, well, from the middle to the movie to the end of the movie, it actually made you guess who the killer was. And then sometimes you just know. This film, you were constantly trying to figure out who it was. And they set it up to where anybody could have been the killer. They all had reasons. But Courtney Cox, thank you guys, was in there too. Now, I got to warn you, if you're looking for cameos that stick around and you're a David Arquette fan, you might be disappointed because he doesn't make it through this film. I'm going to tell you that. But his death is so elaborate. I think he was doing work on his movie, I Am David Arquette or something like that. The wrestling movie he put on. So he probably had to, choose between the two projects. But the story gels. It fits. The ending of it's pretty wicked. I'm going to tell you that. Very cool death by fire at the very end of that thing. I was actually getting hyped up for it because, again, a lot of these run-of-the-mill teen slasher movies, some of them are all the same, but this one, it kept you on the edge of your seat. Like I said, first of all, you didn't know who the killer was till the very end. Second of all, the death scenes were pretty cool. Ghostface was pretty wild in there. And definitely check it out. It is not bad. I don't know what my wife thought of it, but I liked it. It was pretty good. What else do I got? What else going on? They lift the mask mandates, so everyone can breathe a little easier, and that there Creep Show on Shudder has been renewed for another season. Surprise, surprise there. Nothing else really going on that I know of. Just trying to survive. Playing Elden Ring, that thing is freaking great. It's awesome to play with friends. And speaking of friends, I got a couple of new subscribers. Peyton, what's up? Casey, What's up? You know? Uh, the only other thing I read too that kind of upset me is two things upset me, guys. One, John Hurt, who was in Kiss of the Spider Woman, he passed away. He was 71 years old. And Scott Hall. I'm going to talk about Scott Hall for a minute because I know a lot of you guys don't know who the heck Scott Hall is. You might have watched wrestling back in the day and you might have turned it off. But Scott Hall was an integral part of the NWO in WCW wrestling. He also was on a couple of movies, but he was on WWF way early in his career as Razor Ramon. You guys might know him under that name. Well, he had a hip replacement surgery that went bad. He suffered 3 heart attacks and is now on life support. He worked alongside Kevin Nash. And they were the backbone of the NWO. And if you guys have Peacock TV or even interested, go to the WWE section, go down to the NWO. It should say NWO Greatest Hits, or Google that up or something, or get on YouTube and check it out. I was actually getting out of watching wrestling until I saw this whole angle that they created, and it was amazing. And that was probably one of the best things that I have seen in sports entertainment. Scott Hall battled addiction. He was addicted to pills. He was addicted to alcohol. He was in some scandals. You guys can read all about that. But he was a pretty cool dude. But anyway, he's on life support. He was on life support. I think they took him off of it. But you watch a guy, because you can follow in wrestling. You can follow a guy. You can watch him, from when he's real little, and you can follow him through different promotions, and you could see the amount of destruction that's taken upon somebody, not only physically but mentally with the drug abuse. He was a very big influence. He got over his problems. He actually worked through some of his alcohol addiction, and he worked through some of his pill addiction, and he got clean, and he was doing okay. And then, like I said, hip replacement, and now this. And it's going to be sad if he does pass away. But again, if you bought the new WWE game, you can play as Razor Ramon and NWO Scott Hall. So that's cool in that respect. But he was one of the more intriguing sports figures, especially for a storyline that nobody had ever tried before. You guys can check out the NWO angle, and I could go on and on because I'm a big fan, but I know a lot of you aren't. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So, there's that. And, been watching a lot of unearthed movies. They're pretty wicked. I watched one called Lung. Lung is a very trippy movie, and it doesn't have any dialogue, much like Flowers. Graphic, gritty, deserves a second watch. And I have learned to like unearthed films because they are groundbreaking. They are very controversial. They show things that normal film studios don't. So, if you like that kind of thing, check out the unearthed video. You can find some of them on Amazon. There are also some of them that are too extreme for mainstream. You can buy them at unearthed.com. And, I'm glad that, whenever I told you guys about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you guys do not go see it. I have had a lot of people thank me and said, hey, look, I watched the first 5 minutes, the movie went to shit, I turned it off, and I was like, thank you. I'm glad that people are starting to see that I know my movies and I know what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to drop you a line and let you guys know about some of that stuff. So, till next time. GW. Peace.